Bodegas are the cornerstones of many New York City communities, but this one was selling a whole lot more than food, coffee, and over-the-counter items.
Good morning and good afternoon. It is Saturday, July 20th, 2024. We hope you had a great week this week, and this is your weekly blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ. I'm your host, Jason Beck, and please remember to smash that like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as well as drop us a comment below of what you think about this week's blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ. So let's get right into it with our story number one in this week's blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ. A recent investigative report has revealed that a detective with the California Department of Cannabis Control, better known as the DCC, was arrested in April and now faces federal gun trafficking charges. According to court documents obtained through a public records request, the detective, Corey Harris, is charged with conspiracy to traffic firearms and dealing and manufacturing firearms without a license, each carrying a maximum penalty of 15 years. Screenshots from an Instagram account allegedly owned by Harris show guns and knives advertised for sale. Man, oh man. In one instance, Harris allegedly texted a buyer, in quotes, "Your package is secure. I got something good for us to smoke when you guys come." Harris, a former police officer in San Diego and Visalia, aka Tulare County, joined the DCC in early 2023 and served as a firearms instructor. Despite his recent certification in January 2024, his California Peace Officer certification has been temporarily suspended. Harris has pleaded not guilty and is out on bail, and Harris's preliminary hearing is scheduled for July 18th. The charges against him stem from alleged sales in 2021 and 2022 while he was with the Visalia Force, and communications with a buyer in 2023 after he joined the DCC. According to an affidavit filed by U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Special Agent Christopher Stanzos, Harris sold at least 3 guns, including a machine gun, to a felon. Harris also allegedly instructed the buyer on how to manufacture and alter guns and directed him to purchase ammunition without a background check. The original source for this article is the Ganjapreneur. Man, you know, especially in a time with such gun violence, it's really disheartening when the people that are supposed to be so-called protecting the streets and protecting people from criminals or whatnot are just, sounds like they are enabling criminals to only enrich themselves. This is very disheartening. I mean, this is happening across the country, and this is a perfect example of why I feel that restrictive gun laws don't necessarily work. I personally, I back the Second Amendment and whatnot, and I don't think that their rights should be infringed upon. If I do happen to murder your Instagram name, I do apologize in advance. It is not intentional. And now let's see what you all have to say about this cop, DCC agent, now possible felon. GW Smoke Break TV says, "Welcome to the game." Queen Reese B says, "Some of them people up there is on some shit and be in some shit." From one head to another says, "Imagine busting people for weed when you're transporting and selling firearms." Man, this life sometimes is just too real. Baked to a Crisp says, "Of course, it's an ex-Visalia cop. They are notorious for doing shady stuff." Well, interesting. Sounds like you know what's up, possibly. OGOutlaws.sd says, "This new GTA 5 update is mad realistic, yo." Man, I couldn't agree with you more. Scott on the Plant says, WTF DCC have firearms instructors? They give guns to DCC, IRS, plus non-citizens and people supporting disarming 2A. Laughy faces. It's crazy, right? Crazy. TatumTam._ says, bro was networking. Man, oh man, on the internet of all places. And 16th Universe says, nah, he got ratted out for sure. I mean, or someone just found his stuff on the internet. Who knows? That ain't no za says, this is what gun control advocates don't get. Street ninjas in the UK get guns. Guess how? Rogue soldiers and law enforcement officers. You ban guns here in the U.S. and you are just leaving us vulnerable to criminals who will get them anyway, as stated in the story. And Norminius says, hoes gotta eat too. Well, cash in your checks. And moving right along into story number 2 in this week's blunt wrap-up of The Blacklist XYZ. What is 35 million divided by 257 equals? Well, you guess. Because a taxi driver who was nabbed last Wednesday with 257 pounds of marijuana in the trunk and backseat of his car has been sentenced to 3 years and 8 months in jail and fined $104.9 million after pleading guilty to drug trafficking. A 32-year-old Nasik Ali appeared at the Alabon Magistrates Court on Friday, where the charge of possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking was read to him. The police said the seized marijuana carries a street value of $35 million, and the man did not waste the court's time and pleaded guilty. The magistrate then handed down the prison sentence and a fine, and the police in a statement explained that Nasik Ali was nabbed during a police intelligence-led operation on Wednesday in Berbice. His vehicle was intercepted, and the lawman discovered the large quantity of marijuana stacked up in the trunk and the back seat of his car. Wow. This guy was trapping for real. And this source of this is newsourcegy.com. But man, you guys, this guy, just look in the picture, like he had it packed in there and he had it kind of leveled off so he could have a blanket over the top of it or whatnot. So like he had like a little disguise, and you know, there's not a lot of street lighting in a lot of these countries. So, you know, this could have been on a very rural road where it's very, very, very dark out. But who knows? Let's go into this and see what you guys have to say, because there's a lot of questions around the valuations and a lot of people doing different math and whatnot. And we're going to go into all that to give you the full rundown on this. But first off, Justin_Cures says, let me guess, he was in a Subaru. _Roth_ says, this is in Guyana. 105 million Guyanese dollars is about 500,000 US dollars. Sparktown Grown says, okay, 257 pounds, and cops say that's worth 35 million on the street. Who is getting pounds for $136,000 plus on the street? LMAO. To which Enjoying_Plants responds to him and says it's in Guyana dollars, not U.S. dollars. Doing the math, the police valued it at about 647 U.S. dollars per pound. Loyalty7_IC Mag says, talk about a speedy trial. Well, I mean, he pleaded guilty really fast and probably didn't have any money for a lawyer since they took all his stash. And on top of it, he did get caught in the car with it in the driver's seat. That's kind of, you know, this guy always going to be a fall guy. Owen Smith 1412 says, man, that's got to be the type of shit you get high just being in the room with $130K a pack. I better be sitting next to Jesus after taking a hit of that shit. I feel you on that. $130K for a pee? Man, oh man. Twin Gut Bucks _ FBM says, what street they hustling on? I know. We want to know where that getting that good money, right? And one J Zo says, okay, but how you finna find the man more than what his pack was worth? He definitely not paying that off. Miss _ California says, this is laughable. Where do you get this stuff? They putting coke in the 80s prices on Deps. Tell 'em, girl, tell 'em. Later _ Home says, everyone is worried about the geography. Why has no one pointed out that he got busted last week and sentenced already? What a judicial system. Well, I mean, he did plead guilty very fast, you know. Not sure what their policy is with lawyers out there in that country, but nonetheless. Daps Pound says, potheads gotta be freaking slow. The shit says a different country and y'all doing American math. There was a lot of American math going on. You are so right about that. Bleaker, the tweaker seeker, says, bros, ROI is insane. Making 27,000% return is pretty good, I'd say. I would have to agree with you on that math. To which Stoic _ Love says he will need to sell more weed to pay it. He's referring to his fine, and yeah, you're right. He's going to have to go and probably get another Subaru loaded like that to make his payments. But nonetheless, Bradley Genter says, "Bro, I miss when pounds went for $136,000 each. Man, that must have been a good time." And PR _ OG Sour Cookie says, "Damn, well at least he'll be out in 15 to 24 months." I mean, time will tell. And at the same time, who knows what those jails are like out there? If you'll ever make it out alive, I don't know. But nonetheless, we don't have time for all that. We are going to roll right along into our third story of the day in this week's blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ. And they say, and y'all think they aren't watching. 2 convicted felons are back behind bars after a detective recognized their bathroom in a video. One of them posted on Instagram. A detective in Florida became aware of a video posted that depicts the defendant standing in a bathroom singing a rap song. On one of their arrest reports says, during the course of this video, the arrest report said a black handgun is observed sitting on the bathroom vanity, as well as also observable on the vanity is a large bag with what appears to be marijuana. A short time later, this large bag is the focal point of the video. The detective got a search warrant for the home, and the SWAT team executed it on July 1st. During the search of the bedroom, the detective reported finding a pink backpack in a closet behind the bed. Upon opening the book bag, he found 19 individually wrapped bags of suspected marijuana. Each weighing approximately 1 ounce were found and tested positive for a result of THC content. Also inside the book bag was a Springfield Armory XD handgun, which matched the visual characteristics of the handgun the agent observed in the Instagram post. In the video, the words "Shop Open" was posted on top of the suspected marijuana. And the detective noted the way the video was produced is a known method for individuals to use to advertise the sale of narcotics. Source of this is ABC 3340. And man, oh man, you guys, these guys are tripping out. I mean, they are just snitching on themselves in the finest. Let's play this video for you, and I'm going to go into it a little bit more. Now, first of all, I don't know how cops really recognize this bathroom, okay? I'm very confused by that because that is based around what they got their warrant on. So I'm a little bit confused about that. But nonetheless, you know, these guys must have been being watched. But I just feel like this is just like it was an easy bust. These guys on social media. I mean, you live that life. You live that life on social media. I don't understand why people do so much dirt on social media and just think that it's just nothing. But nonetheless, I guess that's kind of going to be the theme of today's show is people getting busted for doing online dirt. To which my buddy Al Sophia says, y'all, this is what our tax dollars goes to, this dumb arrest. You are right. I mean, it is kind of dumb. They've got 19 ounces of weed off the streets. Like, it's woo-hoo, big deal, you guys. Woo, man. Rick Nasky, damn, approximately 19 ounces. Y'all got the big fish this time, really cleaning up those streets, and thank God. 2 people won't be able to smoke this week. And just think, maybe it saved 2 people if those were 19 ounces of mids, but who knows? I mean, it is Florida. Info.from.mendo says, the cops recognized the bathroom. I know, bro. I know. To which which Dat Dude HQ responds to info from Mendo and says, ain't no way they getting off easy if that's the only reason they was able to get a warrant. I mean, I'm willing to bet that they had other ways to get that warrant as well. That it wasn't just because of the bathroom. That sounds a little bit too vague. That might just be what they're telling the public. But nonetheless, who knows? You know, it'll all come out in court. To which Crid D97 says, why would you recognize another man's toilet? Fantastic question. Fantastic. PR_OG Sour Cookie says, damn, Ocala don't play. They throw the book plus a 2-liter from Publix at you. Maybe they shake it first, too. Budzer NJ says, they were definitely already being watched. If not, they would have found it. Too many accounts. They had a target on their back. I think you're probably right about that. I think they definitely did have a target because there are way too many accounts that do this kind of stuff all the time. Fantasy Tattoo and Piercing says, plot twist, Dad's the detective. That's pretty funny. Trichome_Poppy says, whoever that cop was must hate these little ninjas. Nugget 802 says, Island boys can't catch a break. I'm just a island boy. Carl_DeBar_Meister says, it's the gun that the detectives were after. 3-year minimum mandatory for a felon who gets caught with a gun. You may be right about that. That may be a good point right there. And to which Roy_DeMaio says, 2 more innocent victims of police from the state of Florida. Today's PSA is brought to you by Hyatt 9 News and the Blacklist XYZ, where we want to remind everyone that people are still going to jail for cannabis. Despite what you hear from politicians and the mainstream media, people are still going to jail for possession of a plant. As a matter of fact, there were over 245,000 arrests for possession made in the U.S. last year for just simple possession. Be safe out there, everyone. And rolling right along into our 4th story of the day in this week's blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ. That's right, chasing clout will get you every time. A fugitive drug lord has been arrested because his wife gave away their location in an Instagram post. Ronald Rowland, who allegedly had connections with drug cartels in Mexico and laundered $900 million over the last 5 years, was on the run for 2 years before he was arrested in Brazil, and his wife, Adriza de Lima, tagged their lunch location on Instagram. Jeez Louise, you guys. De Lima owned a bikini shop, which was one of 100 businesses Rowland used to launder money and frequently posted to the platform. This comes out of the Daily Mail, and it's Brazil. Muito prazer, you guys. Man, it just astonishes me, all of this. I mean, this is just a sad, sad case of people telling on themselves. Like I said, I guess we have a theme going on today. I mean, this girl, why she would tag, I mean, maybe she didn't know that she was with this guy or what he did, but I kind of find that hard to believe. But nonetheless, and at the same time, we don't know how long this couple was together. Who knows? Maybe it was someone he just picked up on the internet too to have a fun weekend with. Who knows? Never know. Brazil is wild, wild, wild. But let's hear what you guys have to say about this, because Smokey Joe 117 says, anything for the gram. Tony Terp 710 says, women, always the downfall. Well, definitely, at least in this story, that's for sure. Money making Flea says, did she not know he was a fugitive drug lord? 'Cause why he taken all these pics? That's a very good question. He should not be in any of these pictures. You're 100% right about that. It does kind of take two to tango in this. And so he did kind of set himself up for failure with that one. To which Blasey says, snitched themselves. That's right. Dr. Callie 831 says, women and their clout chasing. I mean, not wrong about that either. And Erwin Deep Singh Sainga says, why anyone even need all that attention? The fuck is you gonna do with that? Stay quiet and move quiet. I mean, if they would have done that, they could still be moving right now. To which Medit 18 says, females real quiet in the comments. I did notice that. And God5.gift says, Dummy of the Year award goes to ... To which Logie says, Ronald Roland cannot be a real name. Come on. Who knows? But it's definitely not a Brazilian name. And King's ex-servant says, and she's off to the next, LOL. Well, as they often are, because tag your sponsor. And rolling right along into our fifth story of the day in this week's blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ, to which the Blacklist states, y'all are worried about lab-tested product? Meanwhile, there's fools out here smoking Captain Crunchberries. What would you rather inhale? Oh, man, you guys, this is wild. All of these little colorful packs. This is insane, you guys. This looks like an edibles market, even though it's packs of weed. And I can't believe people actually smoke this. And so there was a lot of people that was wondering what this is. And this is basically you dye some THC-A crystalline, make it colorful, and boom, you throw that on over the weed with some distillate and whatnot. And look, that's what you got right there. This is crazy to me that people even smoke this. And people are buying it. This is just, I'm blown away that people are buying this. And not to mention, why do they mix all the colors in the bags? Like, I just so many questions. Why not just have all the bags all the same color? Or, like have your pink bags all in the pink turkey bag and have all your green bags all in the green turkey bag. But I don't, these people nowadays, it is crazy, and the fact that you guys are buying this stuff is even more crazier. In fact, you guys are smoking it. But whatever. To which J Cure says, ew, brother, what's that? Team Elite Genetics is like, fire. I know you're joking. Big Wolf 1804 says, it's straight candy, bro. Trust me. And that's what they'll say to you when they're selling it to you. You are so right. W2E1S9 says, strongest Eddies you've ever ate. 7,000 milligrams per serving, I promise. I mean, it does kind of look good, like it would be good to eat. Not even going to front on that, but it's going to be tough to chew. Auntie Weta says, and here I thought it was colorful styrofoam for packaging. That would be a fantastic use for that. Bryceag _ says, thought it was Captain Crunch. And Casadinito.Kyle says, no way people smoke that. Bro, they do. And it's crazy. Because otherwise people wouldn't be making packs and doing that with their weed if people wasn't buying it and smoking it. Red Setter Farm says, to be a young kid with no knowledge again. Nah. I'm with you, bro. And we thought we were bad when we were smoking Bammer weed. 223 Glory says, is this not Captain Crunch? Oops, all berries. I mean, it does look like that. Hove_Vo says, LGBT activities. Floss Money says, them look like smackers. And Chill Ass Name says, one specific type of people pop into my mind when I see this. I wonder what kind of people that is. I'd really like to know. Cyclone Cannabis Co. says, that's my lab-tested flower. And Evil Farms 1.0 says, that's the new Skittles drop from your favorite brand. And Luke.Dubia says, why they gotta bust the kettle corn, guys? Man, you guys are nonstop. And rolling right into our sixth and final story of the day in this week's blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ, to which the Blacklist says, over 1 million of illegal drugs, including marijuana, magic mushrooms, were seized during a New York City raid on a Bronx bodega, authorities said. Shout out to the Bronx. Authorities found a back room with thousands of dollars worth of magic mushrooms and cannabis flavors, such as fruit cereal and unicorn, which are typically sold to underage kids. Family Deli, located at the intersection of East Tremont and Sampson Avenues, allegedly dished out illegal pot, edibles, pre-rolls, THC vapes, magic mushrooms, and colorful packaging marketed toward children. NYC Mayor Eric Adams was on the scene as it was raided on Tuesday night. In a quote, as we have always asked the community to reach out to us and let us know if you see something, say something, do something, and they did that, Mayor Adams said. Members of the New York City Sheriff's Office went into the bodega to do an inspection and walked out with $1 million worth of illegal drugs. They also made 2 arrests. The Bronx raid comes on the heels of another bust in Brooklyn earlier this month, and authorities not only weeded out one of the city's largest unlicensed pot distributors, but confiscated a printing press and used to manufacture illegal labels there. Both locations were shut down as part of a new citywide campaign called Operation Padlock to protect, which gives law enforcement the green light to padlock illegal cannabis shops thanks to a new legal authority granted by the state. During the Bronx raid, the owner wasn't present, but Fox 5 New York is told that the 2 arrested were employees who worked behind the counter at the time the store was raided. And this, again, is out of Fox 5 out of New York. Well, you guys, this is one big bust, and we have a video to play, so let's go into this video right here.
Bodegas are the cornerstones of many New York City communities, but this one was selling a whole lot more than food, coffee, and over-the-counter items. Authorities allege Family Deli, located at the intersection of East Tremont and Sampson Avenues, dished out illegal pot, edibles, pre-rolls, THC vapes, magic mushrooms, and colorful packaging marketed toward children. Mayor Adams was on scene as it was raided last night.
As we have always asked the community to reach out to us and let us know if you see something, say something, do something, and they did that.
Members of the New York City Sheriff's Office went in to do an inspection, walked out with $1 million worth of illegal drugs, and made 2 arrests.
They found this door.
The massive stash was hidden in a back storage room along with a tent, a light, and heaters used to grow cannabis flower on site.
And so this is crazy, this whole Operation Padlock. New York is claiming today that they just have closed a little over 600 stores, okay? And to which I wonder how many of those reopened. Now, and they're claiming to have padlocked these buildings and whatnot. But, I mean, you can just get some bolt cutters and cut those off. I mean, New York is a pretty lawless city for the most part. You have all kinds of crime happening out there and no prosecutions. And I can't imagine that they're going to prosecute you for cutting bolt cutters off of a trap distro when they have people not even getting charged for violent crimes out there in the state of New York, in New York City. But nonetheless, the world is a crazy, crazy place. And let's see what you guys have to say about Family Deli. I mean, we saw them pull out a lot of product out of there and a lot of funny brands and whatnot. But Dev Hocho 700 says, yes, get them fake smoke shops out of here so I can make some money. Captain_Sava Bro says, Stizzy 8th with a metric QR with big old eyeballs. I see what you see there. Angry Tits says, through that marketed towards children in at the end there. Yeah, they did try to say that this was all marketing to children. You're so right about that. They're always trying to use the children as the scapegoat for why they want to go in and raid these places and whatnot. And I doubt that they have any sales of selling to minors, but, you know, it's one of their favorite things to throw out. That is for sure. Mr_Millie Mill says, they all do it, brah. Every single bodega. Word. Bond. And you are right. Every single bodega is pretty much doing the same thing out there. Dank.tech says, which are typically sold to kids. I know, bro. They keep on using this same narrative. It's crazy. And _Realionaire says, illegal aliens are literally mauling people day in and day out all throughout the city. Meanwhile, I'm paying $15 for a gallon of milk or eggs, and this is what the mayor is worried about? I agree with you, bro. There's a lot bigger problems going on in New York and across our whole entire country. But nonetheless, we want to thank you all for tuning in to this week's weekend episode of the blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ. I'm your host, Jason Beck, and make sure to tune in to High at 9 News every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific and high noon on the East Coast for America's #1 daily cannabis news show, High at 9 News, as well as continue to comment on all of the posts that the Blacklist and the Blacklist XYZ post throughout the week for your chance to be featured on next week's blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone, and don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as well as drop a comment down below with what you think about this weekend's blunt wrap-up of the Blacklist XYZ, brought to you by High at 9 News and Cloud Media Partners. Have an amazing and safe weekend, everyone.